Hello and welcome. Here are ways to become a supporter of the channel. Thank you and enjoy.
3, 2, 1.
These people are evil. Alright, the new £20 note, yeah? That is a 5G tower. Can you see the hologram? Can you see the rings going around the 5G tower? That is the radiation that it will give off. And lo and behold, above it is the sign for coronavirus. Can you see it? Right in front of everybody's face. Yeah, there you go. Evil. Look at the hologram. Look at the rays going around it. The colors of the thing. That is the radiation off of a 5G tower. And above it is a symbol for coronavirus. There you go. The devil is real. Thank you.
Did you know that the elites are planning to fake an alien invasion? That might sound crazy, but this is how they do it, and they might have already started. Step 1, test the waters. Back in 1938, the original War of the Worlds was aired on broadcast radio. Like, without warning. They just aired the story War of the Worlds, and literally almost the entire United States thought it was real. People literally thought there was an alien invasion, to the point where people actually tried to claim disability for injuries sustained from that war. See how dangerous fake news is? Step 2 would be to slowly ease people into the idea. You know, like release a bunch of declassified stuff over a span of a couple years so people can warm up to the idea that aliens from other planets are real. Part 3 is the actual attack. You have to have projectors set up everywhere in the world. And then they come. Let's look at some foreshadowing. They come from underground, so maybe Hollow Earth. The first thing that happens is the symbolization of the falling of the church. Let's not forget the blue beams. The wild sound it makes almost sounds like a trumpet. Book of Revelation.
Now comes the reddening of the river in Baise, Guangxi province. According to mainland media reports, on May 10th, local residents found that the water of the Leli River turned blood red overnight. Some people worry that the blood-covered river water might be poisonous. They suspect that this may be related to the illegal charge of the local starch factory. However, the person in charge of the starch company refused the accusation because the factory had been shut down for 4 years. Local officials confirmed the red body of water in the river. However, they need further investigation to find out the reason. Earlier, authorities attributed the blood-red sky in Zhejiang to the refraction phenomenon of light from ships. However, netizens were not convinced. There are a few more abnormalities in the sky recorded in China recently. Notably, the yin and yang sky appeared over Beijing on May 9th. The blue sky and white clouds were nicely balanced in the sky. White clouds covered half of the sky, and there were no clouds in the other half. Many regions have recently witnessed the sun halo, or thunderbolt snow phenomenon. Another rare climate phenomenon is the castle-shaped clouds. They suddenly took place in the Liaoning-Fushun region last December. Half were dark, while the other were clear. The Chinese believe that these visions are ominous signs of misfortune and chaos.
Here's the industry exposed once again.
She really wanted to be famous, and she met somebody who could promise her that. We can turn you into a singer, an actor, whatever you want. One day he visited her apartment, and he was like in a suit and tie, and I came in and I saw him in the suit, and then she's like, please leave, and she closed the door on me, so I left, and she came up to my apartment fucking sobbing. And she was like, this guy, please, you cannot repeat this. And for 3 years, I held the story to myself because I thought this guy was going to kill me. But they were like, if you ever repeat this, they'll kill me and they'll kill you and they'll kill anybody that you love. She was like, this guy came to me and he's like, I can turn you into anything you want to be, but you have to sacrifice somebody. And I just spoke to my mother and my mom. My mom really supports me and she's like willing to be sacrificed so I can become like famous. A singer or whatever, famous, whatever. And it was completely serious and it was really fucking terrifying.
What if...
Wait, what if you're really being watched? Remember when toilet sensors started out like this and then ended up like this? What is the second lens even for? I mean, Notice how the new ones actually look like camera lenses from the new phones? But they're sensors, they say. I was in Sam's the other day, and I just felt like I was being watched. And they always say if you have a Android, put it up to a camera lens, and if it flashes, you're being recorded. I mean,
yo, watch this. We can't ignore this. Look at this shit.
Okay, this is either really cool or a little strange, but that's who you're doing business with, right? So.
What is this?
That is Marilyn's hair. So.
You can clone her.
That's awesome.
Oh my god, I'm literally going to do some crazy voodoo shit that I want to wait. And I channel her. This is so special to me. Thank you so much. This is so cool. So cool. Good vibes. Wow. This is sleeping with me.
Okay. So what we're not going to do is sit here and ignore the fact that she said that she can make a clone by using that girl's hair. Let me just say this. I'm not shocked at the fact that Kim is doing our ancestral practices. I'm not shocked at that. I'm shocked at that black ex-husband. I believe they're in separation. I don't know their status or anything. Y'all know Kanye's black Christian ass. I'm shocked at that because if you have a belief system that's functioning in higher realms, what your husband doing?
Have you ever heard of or been to a place called the center of the universe? No? Well, I'm going to take you there. Are you ready? Let's go. Now, what they call the center of the universe is an amazingly strange place that absolutely defies the laws of physics, and it's right in downtown Tulsa, Oklahoma, between Archer Street and Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. And this place is marked by a small concrete circle in the middle about 30 inches in diameter, and then a larger circle that's made of bricks that all together make about 8 feet. And this very strange acoustic anomaly was created in the 1980s when engineers rebuilt the bridge after a terrible fire. And I wanted to note that this circle, it has been studied by various experts, but nobody has been able to exactly pinpoint the root cause. But since its creation, it attracts more than 10,000 visitors per year. And honestly, it's not much to look at, but maybe, just maybe, that's exactly where the intrigue begins. Now, the center of the universe is an acoustic phenomenon where if you stand in the middle of the circle and make a noise, the sound is echoed back several times louder than it was made, kind of like you're in your own echo chamber. And for anyone standing outside of the circle, they can't hear anything. It's only the person standing inside the concrete circle that will hear the echo. And if you want to make things even stranger, if you're standing outside of the circle and try to talk to any person that is inside, your voice will come across distorted and very unclear. And the legend goes that you could stand in the center of the circle and scream at the very top of your lungs, but nobody outside that circle, no matter how loud you scream, will be able to hear it. It's also said that if you drop a little small pin on the concrete surface, that little clink that you might hear would actually turn into a large crash. Now, of course, there are plenty of theories, and one of them being is that the distortion of sounds lies with the parabolic reflectivity of the sound off the surrounding circular wall. But of course, others believe that it's a vortex where energies are colliding. But whatever the causes are of this natural sonic distortion, this is truly an amazing place to visit.
Don't y'all remember how hard crack and even drugs hit the streets in the 80s? And did y'all ever wonder where it came from? In this interview, I'm about to show y'all Gary Webb will expose everything there is to know about how the CIA trafficked drugs into our country in the 80s. Listen up to the video.
Operated along the west coast of the United States throughout most of the 80s. And they were funneling, they were selling cocaine in South Central. They were also selling it in Oakland. They were selling it in San Francisco. They were selling it in San Jose. And some of the money they were making was going to support an army that the men who ran the cocaine ring worked for, called the FDN. This was an army that the CIA started in 1981 and supported.
Better known to us, most of us who remember, is the Contras in Nicaragua. So go right ahead.
The men that were running the cocaine ring were top officials of this Contra army. And what we found was that they were selling this stuff in South Central, which is, predominantly black section of Los Angeles, immediately before the outbreak of the crack cocaine epidemic. They started selling powder, tons and tons and tons of powder cocaine was going into this one small area of the city. And from there, they sold it to Freeway Rick. And Freeway Rick took the powder, turned it into crack, and starting in 1983, 1984, began distributing it to predominantly the gangs, the Crips and the Bloods in Los Angeles.
Yeah, and only the people who planned it and put it together
would know
the significance of the tag number.
He probably didn't even know himself.
He didn't know. No, he didn't know. Yeah. He didn't know. But them above him, they knew. And people swear that it ended with like the people in power as far as like the presidents and stuff. No, it don't even begin there.
I don't believe in coincidence.
The event that started World War One
matched up with the famous date
of the agreement
Yeah.
of the event that ended.
That basically ended it.
Yeah. So basically no one knew before that tourist pointed out. So everybody just thinking just a regular event that happened.
Yeah, regular car, regular.
Walking past it, in and out the museum. Not actually paying attention to the tags, but
something had to happen to the person that actually pointed that shit out.
Yeah, because it ain't no way.
Bro.
Y'all know how it go.
Yeah.
They gotta put it in front of us, but they don't want us to know.
Yeah, because them putting it in front of us is basically like us giving them consent to do stuff in front of our face.
Yeah.
Like they do it all the time. Everything is in front of our face. That's what people be saying. Like they need our consent to do that stuff.
Yeah, like they do. It's the universal rule for them.
Let's talk about how these gangster rappers come up in the game. These niggas got going in the studio with their shirt off and dance around Birdman. Look at this nigga rubbing his hands like, yeah, you the next one, playboy. Hey, you know what this nigga had to do, bruh. Hey, he came up, but hey, don't forget, NLE Chopper.
Oh, man.
Wake up.
Y'all see that shit?
Wake up. Wake up.
Oh, my God.
Wake up. Wake up. Wake up.
Oh. They're always watching us.
So y'all know it's conspiracy behind the idea that World War I was actually planned out. So the event that kicked off World War I was the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand. And the car that he was shot in was like considered a cursed car, but the name of the car was a Grafenstich Phaeton. And it ended up like sitting in a museum in Vienna for almost 2 decades before British tourists pointed out the odd significance on the vehicle license plate. And on the license plate, it read A111118, as in Armistice November 11th, 1918. And that matched up with the famous date of the agreement that ended World War I. Why would that be on the license plate? Nobody, of course nobody knew during the time when he got shot. But why would it be on there? Like, it's literally pictures of him in the car with the same license plate and all that.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, and only the people.
This is a still of Kenny Veach in one of the last videos he posted on YouTube, talking about searching for the M Cave. The M Cave was a cave that Kenny came across when he was hiking in Nevada. I said it right that time. When Kenny found this cave, he said he was going to go in until he got closer to it, and his body almost started vibrating, warning him not to go in there. Whatever's in there isn't for him to see. He said it felt like a primal instinct, don't go in there. So he didn't, but he told everybody on YouTube about it, and they were like, go back. They wanted to see the M Cave. Kenny went back on a few trips, this being the last one he filmed, to find the cave. The last trip he went out on, he was never seen again. 11 months ago, this video was posted on YouTube by a different explorer who thinks he found the M Cave.
Have you ever wondered where all the giant trees have gone? You see, the trees that we have now are all young. The oldest is about 100 years old. All the giant trees have been chopped down. And all that we're left with are giant tree stumps. Oh my days! Oh my diddy. At its height, this tree trunk was 2.5 miles across. The tree full grown would reach 10 miles into the sky. Oh my diddy. Now before you make judgment, I want you to compare these pictures. These are pictures of trees and mountains. Is there any difference? Really? Well, now we know where mountains come from.
The white scientists go into the temples of Kemet to excavate and clean up the walls and temples and make them visitable and inhabitable. They are changing the color of the actual paintings of the Africans on the wall. There was an entire report that came out how the scientific excavators in the temples of Kemet were lightening up the images on the wall, the medu neter. So you have black images and they're using chemicals that actually turn the black image tan.
Professor Smalls told me when he went to study over there, he said the reason why we over here in the West are so caught up with ancient Kemet is because the seeds of Kemet, after Kemet was destroyed, all were driven to the south and to the west of Africa. And during the time of the slave trade, the strangers were the ones that they gave up first. So the people who actually are the ones that were brought over here were the remnants from ancient Kemet. They too, the people of Mali and the people of these areas that you're seeing with the Dogon, they say that the Dogons themselves are the forgotten parts of those tribes that actually ended up or who were driven out.
So Quando Rondo comes out and he tells y'all what I've been telling y'all. In order to make $1 million in the music industry, you got to do two things. Quando Rondo, in his own words, said, you got to sacrifice your brother the way he did Tim. The way he did Tim. The way Vaughn, the way Dirk did King Vaughn. Y'all don't get it. Or you got to be a booty bandit. This is coming from his mouth.
You guys need to see this video. She tried to tell us before she passed away.
Are you on a fast right now? Somebody said you're fasting.
Yes, I am.
How long is the fast going to last?
40 days.
And where are you now?
11.
And how does it feel?
It feels wonderful.
Do you have any food at all? Any substance?
Yeah, well, no, I drink juice, water, drink sea moss.
Sea moss?
Sea moss.
And what does that do for you?
Sea moss, well, see, the body is comprised of 102 minerals and sea moss has 99 of them.
No kidding.
So it's
So you're feeling good?
Yeah.
Would you recommend this to a guy like Tyrese?
I would recommend it for everyone.
I mean...
With all the promotion.
This man was likely killed for curing cancer, AIDS, herpes, and more with only herbs and diet. Alfredo Bowman was arrested for claiming to cure all sorts of supposedly incurable diseases. The judge ordered that for each disease he claimed to cure, one witness must come with a signed independent doctor's letter confirming that they had the disease, and then another signed letter from another doctor confirming that they did not anymore. The judge and jury were shocked when 77 witnesses showed up to the trial, each with signed doctor's letters confirming that they were cured. Dr. Sebi was found not guilty at the state, and then again the next day at the federal level in Supreme Court. Later in his life, he was arrested on claims of money laundering. Although he should have been allowed bail and was in completely good health, he mysteriously died of pneumonia one Saturday. His family and many people believe that he was poisoned in jail, stating just days before that he wasn't eating the food because he knew they were trying to poison him. Conspiracy aside, how did he do it? Dr. Sebi recommended a mix of natural herbs like turmeric, sea moss, burdock, dandelion root, and more, along with fasting and a vegan alkaline diet. Comment below with what you think happened and follow for more interesting herbal information like this.
Biggest lie, it would have to be the fucking U.S. government, actually.
Oh, give me it.
No, I'm serious.
I didn't say it before.
The biggest lie is the U.S. government. It's not what it used to be. It used to be so sick and about the people and about freedom and all that shit, but now it's just bullshit. Now it's a fucking reality show, and I think there's going to be a lot of weird shit that happens within our lifetime and within our generation that really changes the way of the world. So move somewhere, because whenever martial law is declared, you have whenever the credit cards fail, whenever your cards fail, whenever your banks fail and you can't use your fucking card anymore, you have 3 days to get out of where you are, because that's when they're coming for you. That's the big move. That's checkmate.
And if you still don't know what a mud flood is or a great reset, I want you to watch this. I'm sure that most of you have seen these giant heads at some point in your life. These giant heads are found on Easter Island in Chile. But just like mud flood buildings, these statues were buried in, what's that, 15 feet of mud? Now I know what you're gonna say. Over time, soil built up, and listen, there's not even no trees on this island. It's not like it was just growing wild. Nobody knows who built them, nobody knows what happened. The mainstream narrative says that the race of people that lived on this island were cannibals, and they ate their souls to death. Yeah, right. So basically what I'm trying to say is at some point in our recent history, all over the world, we went through a great reset, wiping out many civilizations.
Open out the doors and let them all in here. Yeah, they all in here. We big dog. We come out the pound, so we big dog. Heavy paddock on it, break my wrist off. I'm young out of rocket, about to lead dog. 3, 2, 1, I got big dog status on